Welcome to the second part of France tour. This time we're taking you down southeast of Paris to Beaune to visit a hospice that was built in 1442 and then a tour in a wine cellar. After that we'll go to Chambery to visit some friends who live in a castle and then onwards to Castellane for a drive through Verdun Gorge to Moustier Sainte-Marie. All that coming up right now. Beaune, one of France's national heritage, is the principal town of the Côte d'Or that just about manages to maintain its attractively ancient air. Narrow cobbled streets and sunny squares dotted with cafes make it a lovely spot to sample the region's wine, but we'll do that later. First, the history. And it's just around the corner from the square called Hôtel Dieu. Once past the turnstile, you'll find yourself in a cobbled courtyard surrounded by a wooden gallery overhung by a massive roof patterned with diamonds of gaudy tiles, green, burnt sienna, black and yellow, and similarly multicolored steep-pitched dormers and turrets. Inside is a vast paved hall with a glorious arched timber roof, the Grande Salle du Malade, which preserves the heavy enclosed wooden beds used in the 19th century and beyond. Founded in 1442 by Nicolas Rolin, Chancellor of the Duke of Burgundy and his wife, the hospices are a charity running hospitals, and their original mission was to provide care and relief for the destitute. Patients were accommodated here up until 1971. Today, the famous historic buildings of the Hôtel Dieu are a museum, and their architectural splendor has been preserved intact and unspoiled since the 15th century. The Côte de Beaune is known for its Burgundy wines, with Beaune as a hub for the wine business since it is the largest city inside the wine region. It is because of this that the Patriarche Père et Fils is known as one of the best loved and most frequented wine cellars in town. As one of the attractions in Beaune, there are many people who usually join the tours of the wine cellar, which takes from 1 to 1.5 hours. After you have taken in your fill of the dusty, spooky cellars, you can choose from the 20 of the finest wines that are available for sampling. If you're one of those people who want to get to know the best wine cellars in France during your holiday in the country, then you will not be disappointed here. Traveling further down south of Beaune, we visit a private French chateau of our good friends Kuntuk and her husband. Château de Montpont is located on a little hill in a small sleepy town of Chambery. The last aristocrat family was the Count of Thiolas, who died around 35 years ago. Now this castle is a private property, well maintained by this couple. Kuntuk explained that this chateau was built in 1475 and consists of 3 parts: a tower from the 15th century, a big wing in the 16th century, and a building with an arched gallery also from the same era, where an ancient chapel is located. After a spooky tour of the ancient chateau, Kuntuk was busy in the kitchen to prepare a great meal fit for the king and of course for us all. It was time to leave the warmth of the chateau hospitality and travel further down southeast of France, passing Aix le Bain on the way for lunch and then on to Provence or Alpes du Haute-Provence. And before dark we reached our next stop, Castellane. Castellane is located in a privileged site, right at the doorway to the Verdon Canyons. Tourists are drawn here both for the commercial activity and the large choice of excursions and sports offered by the old city. Downtown Castellane is focused around the Marcel Sauvier Square, the center of local activity. Strolling about, one can discover narrow streets leading to shops or other more mysterious places. But the town is best admired from the terrace of Notre-Dame du Roc. Morning comes and we were off to the Verdon Gorge, or in French, Gorge du Verdon. The Verdon Gorge is a river canyon that is considered by many to be Europe's most beautiful. It is the world's second largest gorge, at about 25 kilometers in length and up to 700 meters deep. The gigantic cliffs of calcareous rock are the result of the erosion from the Verdon River, which is named after its startling turquoise-green color, one of the canyon's most distinguishing characteristics. The most impressive part lies between the towns of Castellane and Moustiers-Sainte-Marie. In the midst of nature reserve, rich in flora and fauna, the scenery here is astonishing. Never really discovered until the beginning of the century, the Verdon Gorges have since then fascinated innumerable visitors. There is no doubt that the site is imposing. The villages nestled at the foot of the fault have maintained their old-fashioned Provençal appeal, and with the fabulous natural resources of the area, provide the visitors with countless activities, from water sports to aviation or simply climbing and hiking. Onwards to the other entrance of the Verdon Canyons, we reach Moustiers-Sainte-Marie, which is one of the most attractive spots of the Emerald Valley. The site is exceptional and quite amazing. Moustiers is set in a semicircle of rocky cliff at the altitude of 630 meters. Two peaks at either end of this cliff are linked together by an iron chain, which is 227 meters long, on which is hooked the star of one of the knights from the Crusades. Moustiers offers wonderful walks in the heart of the village. Here you can stroll and admire the town's interesting architecture, and when tired, stop by any of their little cafes. Moustiers is also a first-rate place for earthenware tiles. The town is well known for their craft in France and has a worldwide reputation. You just cannot resist taking a piece or two of these beautiful potteries back home. The next part will be a very medieval theme as we take you to Egmont and Carcassonne, the cities within the castle walls, and then to a prehistoric times of cave dwellings in Les Izy and La Roque-Saint-Christophe. Finally, we'll round off this trip with a stroll within a magnificent ancient city of Sala. So don't miss the next part. Bye for now.